Good morning, everyone. If you can just imagine that before there was a creation, that the singularity of whatever it is could be this black cube or a black sphere or just a black something. And in order for it to create elbow room for the universe to actually manifest in, it would stretch itself completely upwards. So the singularity stretches upwards and seals the infinite height. And we'd call that infinite height above and assign it a Hebrew letter. And then it would extend itself infinitely below. And it just keep going, just keep going. But we can't wrap our meat brains around the fact that something goes on forever. So in our minds, we seal it, like it says in the Sefer Yetzirah, we seal the above, and then we seal the below with another Hebrew letter, Gimel. And so it would look sort of like that. Then it would stretch to the infinite east from that center and the infinite west, and it would seal those directions. Like that. And it would seal infinite west and infinite east. And then it would stretch itself infinitely forwards. Let's see here, my toys. Infinitely forwards and infinitely backwards. And it would create north and south. Like that. And all of those infinities that are going up and down, right and left and front and back, all those expanding infinities create an infinitely expanding cube, like that. All from the center, that black thing in the center, going, let's do it this way so you can see up, down, that's the Hebrew letter Aleph. Right, left, that's the Hebrew letter Mem. Front, back, that's the Hebrew letter Shin. And that center thing is attributed to Saturn, that center black thing out of which all comes, the inscrutable above the abyss sphere of Saturn. And it creates an infinitely expanding cube of space. The walls, the center and the walls are the planetary spheres. The edges are the zodiacal signs and the houses. And it's all very neat. And there's a nice little toy. Thursday school. That has nothing to do with today's talk, except we now have a dimension to hold our talk in. We're reading from the Tarot of Ceremonial Magick, and we're talking about the suit of swords, and we're at the 8, 9, and 10 of swords. And as you all know by now, all the 8s and 9s and 10s represent the mutable signs of the zodiac. The suit of swords is a suit of air, and mutable air is Gemini. So these are the 3 cards of the suit of the zodiacal sign of Gemini. All 30 decans 10 decans at a time. So we'll start with the first decan of Gemini, the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is called Shortened Force. The planetary assignment to this decan of Gemini is Jupiter. Covers mostly May 21st through May 31st. Hod in Yetzirah. The Prince scale of color is red russet. The general divinatory meanings: interference, being good-natured at the wrong time, unexpected bad luck, energy wasted on unimportant details. Of course, it can mean all sorts of wonderful things too, depending on how it appears in a reading and what the nature of the question is. So don't freak out on the divinatory meanings of any of these cards. The Angels of the Shemhamferish, the guys at the top there. Umabel, everlasting name over all. And Yahel, supreme essence. The day spirit of the Goetia, number 7, Amon. Nice, simple, clean, very balanced signal there. Amon, he's a marquis, great in power and most stern. He appeareth like a wolf with a serpent's tail, vomiting out of his mouth flames of fire. But at the command of the magician he putteth on the shape of a man with dog's teeth, beset in a head like a raven, or else like a man with a raven's head simply. He telleth all things past and to come. He procureth feuds and reconcileth controversies between friends. He governeth 40 legions of spirits. The night spirit of the Goetia, number 43, Sabnok, or Savnor, or Savnok. He also is a marquis, mighty, great and strong, appearing in the form of an armed soldier with a lion's head, riding on a pale-colored horse. His office is to build high towers, castles, and cities, and to furnish them with armor. Also, he can afflict men for many days with wounds, and with sores rotten and full of worms. He giveth good familiars at the request of the exorcist. He commandeth 50 legions of spirits. Okay, the Enochian square again. Briefly, this square appears as the A in Hit Morta, the moon senior of the air tablet. You'd open in 2 = 9 and use call 3. On the water tablet, he is the second I in Ligdissa, the Saturn senior of the water tablet. You'd open up in 3 = 8 and use call number 4. On the earth tablet, he is the N in Izinopo, the moon senior of the earth tablet. You'd open up in 1 = 10 and use call number 5. It appears in the name of 2 seniors of the fire tablet, the R in Edelperna, the solar king, and the R in Arinyap, the Saturn senior. Both of those, to open up the fire tablet, you'd use temple opening 4 = 7 and call number 6. These temple openings and the calls are in the appendices of our book. Now the card you've all been waiting for since I posted her tortured image. Let's see if I can get it a little better here. Her tortured image on this morning's Facebook page. The 9 of Swords, despair and cruelty. Mars in Gemini. This is the second 10 degrees of Gemini. 10 to 20 degrees, roughly June 1st to June 10th. Now, obviously, everybody whose birthday is this card, this does not represent your character, your fate, your proclivities, your anything, okay? It all depends on why you're using the cards and what is the nature of the question, especially if divination. Okay. Mars in Gemini, Yesod and Yetzirah. The color for the Prince scale of color is very dark purple. General divinatory meanings: mental anguish, nothing furthers, both the acceptance of martyrdom and unrelenting revenge. Ouch. Angels of the Shemhamferish, Enauel, joyful service, and Mikekael, vivifying. Day spirit, Barbatos. Number 8. He's a great duke and appears when the sun is in Sagittary, with 4 noble kings and their companies of great troops. He giveth understanding of the singing of birds and of the voices of other creatures, such as the barking of dogs. He breaketh the hidden treasures open that have been laid by the enchantments of magicians. He is of the order of virtues, of which some part he retaineth still, and he knoweth all things past and to come, and reconcileth friends and those that be in power. He ruleth over 30 legions of spirits. The night spirit is Shax. Nice short name. Or Shaz, or Shas. He is a great marquis and appeareth in the form of a stock dove, speaking with a voice hoarse, yet subtle. His office is to take away the sight, hearing, or understanding of any man or woman at the command of the exorcist, and to steal money out of the houses of kings, and to carry it again in 1200 years. Very odd description. If commanded, he will fetch horses at the request of the exorcist, or any other thing. He must first be commanded into a triangle, well, all of them, or else he will deceive him and tell him many lies. He can discover all things that are hidden and not kept by wicked spirits. Nokian attributions for that square. This square appears on the Grand Cross of all 4 elemental tablets as the A of Hitmorda, the moon senior of the air tablet. Excuse me, of the D of Hitmorda on the air tablet, the moon senior. And you'd open up in 2 = 9 and use call 3. He's the S, or it appears as the S in Ligdisa, the Saturn senior of the water tablet. You'd open in 3 = 8 and use call number 4. On the Earth tablet, it appears as the I in Lizinopo, the moon senior of the Earth tablet, and that would be 1 = 10, and call number 5. And it appears only once on the fire tablet as the Saturn senior, the I in Arinap, the Saturn senior. And for the fire tablet, you open up in 4 = 7 and use call number 6. Finally, and we'll be through with these anxiety cards of the swords. Tomorrow we'll start up with discs. But one more, we've got one more of these cards of swords to deal with. The Ten of Swords. Ruin. Sol in Gemini. Now, remember how the Ten of Wands, even though it's pretty stable on the Tree of Life, it was right there on the bottom of the middle pillar, it was oppression. Wands couldn't imagine another universe any lower than the world of Wands. So it was called oppression. Oh God, I'm going to lose myself. Well, can you imagine that same anxiety, that same fear in the world of the mind? The mind does not want to let go of its dominance of thinking that it is the be-all and end-all of the self. It's not. But in the 10, it's freaking out, thinking that it's going to lose itself. Okay. So the 10 of Swords, ruin, Sol in Gemini, which is roughly June 11th through June 20th. The color, because it's 10, there's 4 colors of on the print scale: citron, olive, russet, and black, each flecked gold. Now, I tried to get those flecks there, Constance did. General divinatory meaning: madness, disaster which may signal the end of a delusion. Now, when you look at it that way, in the context of a reading, sometimes you're just ecstatic to see this card come up. Angels of the Shemhamphoresh, Demabia, Fountain of Wisdom, and Meniel, nourishing all. The day spirit is Paimon. Paimon's a big one. Listen to this. A great king, and very obedient unto Lucifer. He appeareth in the form of a man sitting upon a dromedary, with a crown most glorious upon his head. There goeth before him an host of spirits, like men with trumpets, and well-sounding cymbals, and all other sorts of musical instruments. He hath a great voice, and roareth at his first coming, and his speech is such that the magician cannot well understand unless he can compel him. This spirit can teach all arts and sciences and other secret things. He can discover unto thee what the earth is, and what holdeth it up in the waters, and what mind is, and where it is, or any other thing thou mayest desire to know. He giveth dignity, and confirmeth the same. He bindeth or maketh any man subject unto the magician, if he so desire it. He giveth good familiars, and such as can teach all arts. He is to be observed toward the west. He is of the order of dominions, and he hath under him 20 legions of spirits, and part of them are of the order of angels, and the other part of potentates. Now, if thou callest this spirit Paimon alone, thou must make him some offering. And there will attend him 2 kings called Labal and Abalim, and also other spirits who be under the order of potentates in his host, and also 22 legions. And these spirits which shall be subject unto them are not always with them, unless the magician do compel them. And a digression about making offerings. The formula of Solomonic magic works as long as the magician is in control of the situation. There is no such thing, there should be no such thing as a quid pro quo. You don't make deals with the spirits, they make deals with you. So if you're going to make an offering, it's not, if you do this, I'll give you this and I promise this. No. You can be courteous. You can be polite. You can do honor to their good service, but always, always on your terms. The night spirit of the Goetia is Vinay, or Vinay. He's a great king and earl, and appeareth with the head of a lion, riding upon a black horse, and bearing a viper in his hand. His office is to discover things hidden, witches, wizards, and things present, past, and to come. He, at the command of the exorcist, will build towers, overthrow great stone walls, and make waters rough with storms. He governeth 36 legions of spirits. Now, finally, look at that. That's Sol in Gemini, and it is Gemini. And it's a 10, okay? But because it's that mind getting ready to lose itself, we have that difficult divinatory meaning. It appears, again, in all 4 elemental tablets of the Enochian system as the R in the air tablet, the Moon Senior. So to open up that air tablet, you'd use 2 = 9 temple opening and recite call number 3. On the water tablet, it appears as the final A in the Saturn Senior, Ligdisa. You'd open the temple in 3 = 8 and use call number 4. And the earth tablet appears twice, or the square appears twice, as the capital Z in Exotechal, the king, or the solar senior, and that same Z in the moon senior, Lizinopo. To open up the earth tablet, you use 10 = 1 and the call number 5. Finally, it appears as the N, first N in the Saturn Senior of the fire tablet, Arin Nap. And to open up the fire tablet, you'd use 4 = 7 and call number 6. Tomorrow, mercifully, we'll be opening up and talking about the small cards in the suit of discs. So, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. It looks like there may be light at the end of this tunnel thing, but now's not the time to lose our heads. Let's continue to be safe, be cautious, and be joyous. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.